Hello everyone, this is Tricky, and today we're going to be talking about the top 10 Pokemon that freak me the heck out. So this video is going to contain some freaky Pokedex entries, plus just the Pokemon I do not want to be stuck in a dark room with, because I would probably cry. I'd probably cry a lot. Cry. So we're going to get started with our honorable mentions. These Pokemon freak me out, but they do not have strong enough reasons to be put on the top 10 list. So let's go ahead and get them out the way. Ariados, just because it's a spider. Don't really like spiders that much, but it's an okay Pokemon, I suppose. Jynx, obvious reasons. I mean, its face. I don't like its face. No, I don't like it. And Igglybuff. I don't know why. There's just something about this little booger, but I do not like it. I can't put my finger on it. It freaks me out. I don't know why. Okay, with them out the way, let's move on to number 10. Parasect. This Pokemon freaks me out, but at the same time, I feel extremely sorry for it. As a kid, I really liked Paras. Even though its design is equally as creepy, and if this thing was crawling towards me in real life, I'd probably cry. But in any case, whenever it evolves, the two mushrooms on its back eventually take over its entire body and controls it. Now, considering I was a stupid little kid, I didn't really connect Parasect and Parasite together, so I didn't really understand its entire situation and what this Pokemon actually was. This Pokemon freaks me out because it's basically a zombie. It's so cool, but so unfortunate at the same time. I mean, the mushroom completely drained its life. It controls its thinking, its movements. It controls everything. There's a lifeless bug host right there. That's nothing. Empty eyes of emptiness. That sucks, dude. That's awful. What a way to go. On another note, for those of you who have played The Last of Us, the infected really remind me of Parasect because it's basically the same situation. The zombie thingies are basically humans who got taken over by a fungal infection and it slowly took over their body. And Paras is the Pokemon equivalent to that. Paras's two little mushrooms are basically infected and eventually it becomes something that it cannot control anymore. And it takes over its body and controls it. And if you have not played The Last of Us, I highly recommend it because it's an awesome game. Now you have to think twice before you evolve a cute little Paras, okay? You're about to turn into a zombie. You're gonna have a zombie. Your little Paras ain't gonna be there no more. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting carried away. Let's move on to number 9. Haunter. Haunter is honestly one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. I love Haunter so much. And I actually find its design to be kinda cute. Don't judge, I'm a weird Tricky. And all of its anime appearances, it's completely hilarious and I just love it. Its Pokedex entry is kinda dark though. It's very freaky. Its tongue is made of gas. If licked, its victims start shaking constantly until death eventually comes. That sucks. Now take a moment out of your happy day and think about shaking violently and suffocating until you die. I think Haunter's cute, but that's not cool. On top of its freaky Pokedex entries, it has had some pretty freaky appearances. Though it is cartoony, it can look very scary. I mean, its original sprite even looks terrifying to me. I honestly think Haunter's design is more creepy than Gengar's just because it's more... I don't know. I find it more threatening or something. Now, I do like Mega Gengar. Mega Gengar reminds me more of Haunter, so that's probably why. That's probably why I like it. So let's go ahead and move on to number 8. Weezing. This is another Pokemon that I kind of feel sorry for. Koffing used to look so happy. He has that big old smile on his face. He's just doing his thing, poisoning people. You know, living his life. And then there's that rare occasion that melts two Koffings together to form this thing. It just looks like a depressed, mutated abomination. And I feel really sorry for it. It just used to look so happy and now it's just blah. It doesn't have a scary Pokedex entry, but its design, it looks like a very unpleasant creature, and I would not want to be in a corner with it. So let's move on to number 7. Frillish. Male Frillishes definitely have the freakier face. Female's not that bad, but that... Frillish has a very freaky Pokedex entry as well, and I would never want to be in this situation. This is awful. They paralyze prey with poison, then drag them down to their lairs 5 miles below the surface, never to return. Dude, can you imagine having something paralyze you, then wrap their little thingies around you, and then drag you underwater to drown you? Anything that has to do with suffocating or drowning that just freaks me out, and I don't like that. And that face, you see that face, and you run! Anyway, let's move on to number 6. Dragalge. Similar to Haunter, I like this Pokemon, but it still freaks me out to an extent. Its design just looks like death. If I was enjoying a pleasant little swim and this thing happened to swim next to me, I would probably start crying. It just looks very dangerous, and its body freaks me out. Its Pokedex entry is very intimidating as well. Their poison is strong enough to eat through the hull of a tanker, and they spit it indiscriminately at anything that enters their territory. It is said that ships that sail through the seas where it lives never return. Oh, that's comforting. If that poison got on you, it would melt you. Possibly instantly. That's not a good thought. So it has a freaky design, plus it could kill you in like 2 seconds. Yeah, it's freaky. Moving on. Number 5. Gorebyss. Just its name is very freaky. Its name is a lovely combination of gore and abyss. That sounds like it could lead to fantastic things that doesn't involve death. Its design isn't very freaky, but that's the entire point of it because it's supposed to be like a mermaid. Gorebyss and mermaids appear to be very beautiful, but they only use their beauty to entice their prey. Once they get close enough, then they kill them. Its Pokedex entry is very lovely as well. Although Gorebyss is the very picture of elegance and beauty while swimming, it is also cruel. When it spots prey, this Pokemon inserts its thin mouth into the prey's body and drains the prey of its body fluids. That's insanely gross, and without any bodily fluids, do you have any idea what you would look like? Besides being dead, you wouldn't look very pretty, okay? That just sounds like a very unpleasant thing. Just don't trust the pink. So it's pretty self-explanatory why this Pokemon made it on the list. These Pokedex entries are so freaking dark for a children's game, like holy crap. Anyway, let's move on to number 4. This Pokemon is pretty much on every single list that has to do with freakiness. Hypno. It's either Hypno or Drowsy, but Hypno freaks me out the most. It's honestly due to the creepypasta. Creepypastas will scar you for life. Every time I see Hypno, I think of Hypno's lullaby, and I'm like, no. For the few people who do not know what a creepypasta is, it's basically a scary story about something, and there's tons of Pokemon creepypastas. Hypno's Lullaby and the Lavender Town Syndrome are the 2 most popular ones, and they have scarred me forever. That's probably the only reason why Hypno's on this list. Besides its freaky creeper eyes, it's just so happy with what it does. Kind of a boring one, but you know, it happens. Moving on to number 3. Gourgeist. I honestly thought Pumpkaboo was the cutest little thing ever, and then it evolves into this freaky thing. I don't really like its design. I mean, it could have had a cool creepy design, but it honestly just kind of looks a little weird to me. But it is still very freaky at the same time. Its Pokedex entry is also very creepy, and this is why I don't like it. It enwraps its prey in its hair-like arms. It sings joyfully as it observes the suffering of its prey. Let me repeat that. It sings joyfully as it observes the suffering of its prey. Anything that has a good time and gets extremely excited when watching one suffer is freaky and satanic and awful. this little thing freaks me out a lot. You see that little smile? It'll be so happy to watch you squirm on the ground. Because it's just a little nasty little... Anyway, let's move on to number 2. Golbat. Anything that is in the dark that has a huge gaping mouth will freak me out. Any scary movie with a ghost that could like stretch its mouth like mwah, I cry. The only exception to large gaping mouthness is Gyarados, because Gyarados is one of my favorite Pokemon. Its design is beautiful. I love it. Though if I was swimming and I had some goggles and I turned around and there's a giant Gyarados and its mouth was like right there, I'd probably cry too, but that's beyond the point. Golbat's original sprite just looks unsettling to me. If I woke up with that thing in my face, I would cry. The fact that this thing goes around and sucks animal and people's blood with that giant mouth is just freaky. Instant freaky. Anything with big giant mouth does not signal happy. Well guys, let's recap before I reveal the Pokemon that freaks me out the most. Number 10, Parasect. Number 9, Haunter. Number 8, Weezing. Number 7, Frillish. Number 6, Dragalge. Number 5, Gorbis. Number 4, Hypno. Number 3, Gourgeist. Number 2, Golbat. And now for number 1. This Pokemon does not have a freaky Pokedex entry, but it has scarred me since I was a child, and it will forever freak me out. Mr. Mime. Lots of you probably saw that coming. This Pokemon looks utterly disturbing. I don't know if it's the pink, or its face, or the fact that it's a mime, and mimes and clowns freak me out anyway. So this Pokemon does not make me happy. It can create invisible objects at people. I can only imagine that you're trying to enjoy your day and then like a random invisible wall will happen, or some force will start suffocating you and you can't see what it is. Mr. Mime's doing it. He looks so happy, yet for some reason he has always scared me, even as a child. I'm 20 years old now. Just letting you know. This thing, nope, do not like. Make it stop. This thing will always freak me out. I will never get over my fear of clowns and mimes. On top of that, Fairy has been added to its type. That freaks me out because my favorite Pokemon to use are Dark and Dragon, and guess what? Now my arch nemesis is a Fairy type, and he finds me and he kills me. He kills all my Pokemon, and I get very upset. Very, very upset. So yeah, that is why he made it to number 1. So what Pokemon freaks you out? What Pokemon scares you? Let me know in the comments below. I will read all of them. I love hearing from you guys. And if anybody is curious as to why I'm not uploading that often, I still have that data cap. Only 9,000 megabytes per month. Fantastic stuff. I am normally able to make videos or play games on Steam if I am going to a friend's house. So I appreciate all the buddies who have allowed me to come over. And yes. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe for more Pokemon related content. I do plan on making a lot more videos that are not only Pokemon related too, because I like playing a lot of games. So I love you guys, and I thank you so much for your time, and I hope to... Oh my goodness, I can't speak! And I didn't feel like editing this because I'm so tired and I'm hungry. So I'm just gonna go. Bye bye guys!